Transformers The Last Night is the newest Michael Bay shitfest, and this one is definitely better than the last film, but it just is disappointing when you watch a movie that the creators could have made better. Like, this is a film that, more than the past couple, where you could see the potential in the movie. And you see that if they wanted to, they could make a good film. But Michael Bay doesn't want to. He just wants to make a shit film. And he's like he's almost making it on purpose. And it's just kind of disappointing and depressing, like seeing your childhood hammered over by this douchebag Michael Bay. And it's not a great film. Especially it's, a half hour too long. It's full of really weird dialogue that was obviously written by Michael Bay, even though there are other screenwriters. And it's just a mess of a movie, too. And it's not good. It's not a good film. But anyone that has seen the Transformers film the past decade knows that these films are not good. And they go to the theater for the spectacle. And there is some of that.
Forgive me.
So the setup for the film is that the Earth is doing weird things, and all of the Transformers are crashing onto it and causing problems. And the United of the Earth kind of created this military, the TRF, to kill all the Transformers and get rid of them. And Marky Mark is going around with the Autobots and hiding from them. And he finds this older Transformer that gives him a badge that is linked to King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, which also included Transformer Knights. And then you have a movie where Optimus Prime, some reason, fired himself off into space to go back to Cybertron. But Cybertron is kind of destroyed, and there's some weird goddess thing there that wants to turn Optimus bad and come back and destroy humanity. And that's the film. So instead of just talking about everything wrong with the film, I'm going to do something a little different and try to mention where it went wrong and how it could have been fixed. And to do that, I do have to spoil some things. Not that really much any of it matters. But, if you want to go into the movie cold, then you may not want to watch this review. I'd probably give it a 4 out of 10, the movie. But right off the bat, it starts off with this really cool battle scene, in the Middle Ages. Or I guess it would be earlier than that. But it's a really cool scene. It's a little bit fantasy. All the armor is, not trying to be realistic at all. But it's cool. And you can tell they spent millions and millions of dollars on this scene. So it's King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table and all his military being attacked by the Vikings or barbarians, and they're losing and looks like they're gonna die. And then you see Merlin is going to an alien ship, which he was trying to ask for the Transformers' help, and they come in the shape of a giant 3-headed dragon. And it's kind of odd because right away, you get, it's really serious and kind of gory and brutal and really cool. And then you get Merlin, who's Stanley Tucci playing an alcoholic womanizer as Merlin. And this just gets rid of really corny Michael Bay schlock. But, I would keep all this stuff, maybe minimize the Merlin, but I would maybe not put it at the beginning of the film. I would put a little bit later when Mark Wahlberg gets that badge thing. And, that you've already showed previously that Transformer artifacts can give humans visions. So I thought you could have opened the scene with someone in Chicago or somewhere else, and Mark, he pulls he sees this last knight that's dying, and the knight gives him the badge, and when the badge like goes onto his arm or whatever, he sees a vision of the Knights of the Round Table battling, and maybe like he's even one of the Knights of the Round Table. And I think that would have been a cooler way to introduce that section. Now, when you get to the actual main star of the movie, which is very oddly post-apocalyptic in Chicago, where like no one's living there, and there are these 4 random kids that snuck in, and they must be walking miles to get. It's kind of odd, and it doesn't make sense. I think almost kind of pull off like the Stranger Things thing. And when they get in there, it's like a complete destroyed thing, and it's the post-apocalyptic theme would be really cool to explore in a Transformers movie. But after this intro, it's never brought up again. Like, the rest of the world is completely normal. And it's just an odd choice to have that theme and not follow through with it. So instead, I would just get rid of the whole thing. Get rid of everything in Chicago except for the night crashing and him getting the badge. And you could do that without introducing any of those other characters. And that includes the little girl, which, again, I'm not saying Michael Bay is a pedophile or a hebdophile, whatever it's called, but he seems to have a thing for underage girls. Because in the last film, he had like a 10-minute diatribe about how the main girl in the film, which she was trying to make her look as hot as possible, is underage, and it's okay for her boyfriend to be banging him because they started dating when they were both underage, even though now he's like 19 or 20 or something like that. And that was just such an odd part of that movie. In this one, you have this girl, and she's not as overtly sexualized as the girl from the last film, but you immediately have these kids that sexualize her when they see her. And it's just an odd choice. But, that's what he likes, I guess. So you have this girl that has this Transformer that she's her best friends with, and she's living in this dead zone. And, like, she becomes a little bit part of the rest of the film, but those 4 kids, they never show up or never are mentioned again. So just get rid of them and get rid of the girl, too. Because all she does is waste time. Like, she doesn't add anything to the movie. And the same with her other little Transformer bot that she kind of put back together. Like, the only thing they do is, I guess they can give a little bit of exposition to her to explain what they've been doing since the last film. But the only thing they do, like, they disappear and they come back right towards the end, and she and her robot kill the one gun. They destroy the one sentry gun. And that's all they do. I mean, you don't need them. They're just pointless fluff. So get rid of them. Then when you get to Marky Mark and the whole junkyard theme with all the Transformers, I guess you can keep that, but try not to be so weird about all the voices of the Transformers. Like, you still have some of the previous ones where they're kind of racist and they're kind of just stupid. Like, just get some non-celebrities just to do a real Transformer voice. And the biggest thing, too, is I would completely get rid of the TRF, or whatever. I think that's what they're called, the TRF. It's like the people that are there to kill all the Transformers, and because they're pointless. You have the Decepticons. You even do a thing where, like, you introduce the Decepticons in a very Suicide Squad-esque scene where, like, these American lawyers are like, they're like, okay, I'm the Megatron's like, I want this guy. He's like, no, we can do that. How about this one? Oh no, not that one. And it's like, and then you see the people that are like in prison and what they did, and like what their names are, and it's like a montage sort of thing. It's really weird. But I mean, what's the point of that? Just have the Decepticons attack Mark and all the boss on the junkyard. Just get rid of all that stuff, and then you can even keep a lot of the same set pieces, a lot of the same action scenes. Just have them be Decepticon bots instead of drones. They'd be that simple. When Mark gets to England and meets Anthony Hopkins and meets the new hot chick, Isabela Moner, you can keep all that stuff, but just make it not so blatant with the hot chick where she has to be, oh, I'm actually a genius, I'm hot and a genius and I'm single. Oh. And just get rid of tone it down a bit, and also tone down the bot that's with Anthony Hopkins, the clockwork bot. They don't explain if he's a transformer or if he's they made him. They don't ever explain that, but tone him down. There's a lot of stuff with him where he breaks up a scene's flow for no apparent reason, other than try to input a little bit of humor, but it's just annoying. And just really limit his role in the film. You can do all of the exposition about the Knights of the Round Table and all the wiki stuff is goofy, but if you want to do that, do it. But interpose it with more visions of King Arthur. Those scenes were cool. Do more with them, and instead of just having Anthony Hopkins do a monologue about them. And once you get to the submarine and go down into the ocean to the old Transformers ship, you can keep that, but there's one thing that really bothered me about it, and that's again with the clockwork guy. At one point he fires himself out of the torpedo to go catch these two giant fish and bring them back to the ship so that Mark and Isabella can have romantic dinner. And that's fine. It's corny, but that's fine. But then a little bit later, they're getting in the Transformer ship, and he's standing on top of the submarine, and I'm not getting in the water. My gears were rust. And it's you were just swimming in the ocean, but you don't want to get in the water now? What's that? It's just I don't know, a continuity error, or I don't know. But then when you get to all that stuff, you can keep all of that stuff in that ship. But then when you get to Optimus Prime, and this is one of my biggest problems with the film, is that what is the point of having Optimus Prime be evil if he doesn't wreck some shit? Every trailer has him being evil, and he's evil in this movie for 5 minutes in a fight scene with Bumblebee. And if you're going to have him be evil, have him do evil things. If you don't want him to kill Autobots, have him just destroying the military. After the planet he comes down and wrecks the city, wrecks stuff. And then he does the fight with Bumblebee. And, the fight with Bumblebee is fine, but there's a gigantic plot hole in the movie where earlier on at the junkyard, Marky Mark replaced Bumblebee's voice box with a new one that was supposed to allow him to talk. And when they replaced it, it gave him the Siri voice, and he ripped the voice box out. And so when later, all of a sudden, he's fighting Optimus, and now he can talk. And when he talks, Optimus wakes up and is oh, I haven't heard your voice in Cybertron. I'm oh, I'm not evil now, I'm good again. But how could Bumblebee talk? He ripped the replacement voice box straight out of his neck. So he has no voice box. What is this odd? All you have to do is that earlier scene when they're replacing the voice box, don't have him rip it out in disgust. That's simple. It's fixed. Now, when you get to the whole climactic scene where all the Autobots are fighting the Decepticons, and Cybertron is coming down to try to destroy Earth or absorb its energy or whatever, the actual action parts of those scenes are great. They're pretty fun. That is the spectacle that people love from the Transformers movie. So keep all that shit, but get rid of the incredibly random nerd that goes, oh, but physics. Oh, we should do this and this. Not that magic stuff. No, just don't do physics. And it's Tony Hale. And he appeared in I can see earlier in the movie he appeared on like he was sees in the telescope that Cybertron is coming towards the world at a fast pace, and they're like, "Oh, it'd be the extinction level event." Okay, that served its purpose, but I knew it was an actor, Tony Hale, so I was like, "Oh, this guy is going to come up again, isn't he?" And of course he does, and it's idiotic and it's pointless, and it's just like in this world, this is not the real world. This is the Transformers universe. So scientists would have had to understand that. Like, and it's not really magic when it's like it's Transformers stuff. It's like some sort of weird technology. And the end can be the same, even though the whole setup of like the Earth being Unicron is just kind of goofy. And it feels like a lot of the things in the movie, like Michael Bay uses a name from something from the Transformers universe, like from the cartoon or from the comics. And it's meant to be for the Transformers fans to go, oh, I know that. But it's confusing for everyone else. And they kind of mess with the stuff just to fit whatever they want it to do. And it's just kind of goofy. But, as like, from all the cuts, I'd say, you probably have cut at least a half an hour from the film. And I think the film would have been a lot better on a tight, like, hour and a half instead of 2 hours or whatever it was. And, I definitely wouldn't recommend the film. Like I said, I give it like a 4 out of 10. But thanks for watching. You can check out my other video playlists around my head.